So, good evening, everyone. I'm Iman Jamil, and I'll be moderating this session. I welcome all jointly organized Youth Diplomacy Forum and Next Chinese Association. The topic that will be under discussion today is China's special initiative for sustainable progress of the developing world. So, for that, I would like to invite Mr. Zamir Ahmed Awan. He is the professor at NUST University, sinologist, and his research is focused on China. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Today we are talking about the China's special initiative for sustainable development and progress in the developing countries, in developing worlds. First of all, we should make a clear background of this session. Why we want to attend this lecture, how this lecture will benefit you, what are the targets you need to achieve after attending this lecture. So first of all, that we should understand what is sustainable development. The secondly, that how the China has taken special initiative for developing world. And then we should compare where Pakistan stands, what we have to do, what benefit we can get from this China's special initiatives and programs. The sustainable development means that development which should self-sustain and can maintain for longer period of time. Sometimes you do some projects that are instant in nature, but very short time of lifespan and then self-die. And if you make some good progress, but it is only for the very short time of the interval, and then you have to fall down. The sustainable that maintain and longer run. That is the sustainable development. For example, if we send a doctor into a far-flung areas, very far away, backward area, where the malaria or some disease has broke out, the doctor will go there, stay there for 1 week or 2 weeks, and cure many villagers or victims and rescue their life. But once he come back from that place, it is not sustainable because there's no other alternate. But sustainable development that we appoint a doctor from the local community who stay there for the longer time. Whenever there is a problem, they go to their doctor and get resolved it. That is the sustainable development. We can invite somebody from interior Sindh or backward area of KPEC or Kashmir or northern area to come to Islamabad, join a good university and get a good education. Maybe it is helpful for that person individually, but the longer run is better. We should provide him good education in his own area. That means that if we open a good university in interior Sindh or KPK or Gilgit Baltistan or some backward areas, that will be a sustainable development. Many people will be getting benefit out of that, and for the over a longer period of time. The desired development is always sustainable development. The instant or immediate measures are also required. For example, in the recent flood in Pakistan, the government of Pakistan used its all resources, rescued the victims of the flood. They kept them in a camp. That camp was especially facilitating the victim of the flood, where they were provided the food, they were provided the basic necessities of the life, health care, and of course the tents and living place. But this is not a sustainable way. The sustainable that when the flood is dried off, the water has gone away, we have to rehabilitate them, that we have to reconstruct their house. The infrastructure which was damaged due to the flood, we have to reconstruct. For example, if there was a hospital which is damaged due to the flood, we have to repair it. If there was a school which was damaged in the flood, we have to repair that school, reconstruct the school. If there was a road or electricity disruption or telephone line disruption, we have to provide them, restore the electricity connection, gas connection, water connections, or telephone connection. That is the sustainable development. Definitely, sustainable development are sometimes very difficult to achieve because it is costly and it takes a longer time. Uh, Immediate and instant help is also required, but long-term assistance is also very, very important. China is a rising country, is a rising power. China used to be a very backward and poor country in 1960s, 70s, and 80s. Then China gradually made unprecedented developments, economic developments, and China has reached to a stage where there is a absolute no poverty. The people has surpassed the poverty line, and now they have successfully established a moderate, prosperous society. So China has the experience of being a poor and now is enjoying a prosper life. So China is in a position having the feeling of the poor man and also now has reached a position or attained a position where it can help other countries to prosper, to develop. Uh, in fact, I give you an example of United States of America. United States of America is the #1 global economy, very rich country, very advanced in the technology and and you can say highest standard of life. But what happened? The neighboring countries of America are still very poor. The particular example is the Mexico. Mexico is a poor country. The life standard between America and the Mexico is a huge gap. That's why it has attracted many Mexican people to migrate to America. Of course, legal immigration has many, many limitations. So what is happening? People are smuggled, are illegally entering into the United States of America. For the last several decades, the biggest headache of American government was how to control the Mexican illegal immigrants. President Trump has paid around 8 billion US dollar to build a wall between Mexico and America on the border so that they can control the illegal immigrants from the Mexico. It was so huge problem that they were willing to spend 8 billion US dollars. You can imagine the importance of this project. You can imagine how big was the problem for America. Chinese are different people. Chinese are the different nation. They have the different feelings. They have suffered from the poverty. They have suffered from the colonialism. They have suffered from the imperialism for almost 200 years. They were the victim of the West. So they have the feeling a poor man's life, how a poor man is managing his life, how a poor man is thinking. They understand the status of being a poor. That's why the China has decided to make all its neighboring country equally prosper. That is If China become rich, all its neighboring countries also become rich. Nobody will try to illegally migrate to China. That is in the best interest of China that all of its neighbors are self-sufficient and prosper. So there should be no temptation for the neighboring countries to enter into China illegally or legally. Of course, legally there are always limitations. So the people always follow the illegal means to enter to rich country for betterment of their future. This is very well understood, and I think everybody can understand easily that when a country is poor, they always think to go to migrate to a country which is poor, where it's a better life, better opportunities, and more options are available. This is a natural, and every human being has this desire to spend better life. And this is, I think it is the right of every man to have a better life. So if legally they don't allow to enter to a rich country, they will use the illegal ways and means to enter that rich country and have a comfortable life, luxurious life. Uh, China has believed our Chinese approach that all the developing countries, especially the neighboring and the friendly countries, should develop along with China, prosper along with China, become rich along with China, and having almost the same level of life when the gap of the standard of life between China and its neighboring countries will be not big, so it will not tempt people to migrate to China illegally. That's why China has taken some special initiative to help its neighboring countries, friendly countries, developing countries to make developments. This is the philosophy behind Chinese initiatives. We will go one by one. What are these measures? What are these steps they have taken? Let me also share another concept with you. We are all Pakistani, and maybe you are very young, but your parents, your elder brothers, sisters, and maybe your father and mother, they know it very well. We were in the American bloc for 7 decades. Since 1947, we were in the American bloc. We were part of American drive against the communism threat in 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Then we were also active member of American bloc against Russian occupation of Afghanistan in 1980s. Then we were the frontline state and non-NATO close ally with America on war on terror. And America has been giving us a lot of aid. US aid was very generous to provide the funding to Pakistan. But what was the mood of funding? Most of the funding, and except to the military hardware, defense needs, most of the funding has gone to the NGOs. The NGOs are mostly managed by elite of Pakistan, especially the elite, the ruler of Pakistan, Pakistanis families, mostly the bureaucrats, their wives are managing the NGOs. After the retirement, their wife, the first ladies, have opened an NGO, registered an NGO, getting the American funding. What was the purpose of these funding? Mostly it was for the women's rights. Women's rights are a very important issue. Equal rights for women, of course, it is important. The status of women, it is very important. To curb on the child labor, of course, it's important. The children should go to the schools and not to work in the street. These are important issues. Child abuse, and etc. The social sectors. All of them are very important. But what actually was happening. Major part of this American fund goes to the pocket of the NGO owners, which were the elite of Pakistan. A small portion was used of this funding was used to organize a seminar in the five-star hotel in Islamabad, usually in Serena Hotel or Marriott Hotel in Islamabad. And they invite the ministers, senators, MNAs, ruling elites, business community, the high-ups, the ruling elite of this country. And they give few lectures, and few speeches, and then a lavish dinner or lunch is served. High tea is a lavish one. And then, of course, they have the photo session, media coverage, TV and newspaper publish their coverage of this seminar, and they think the NGO has done his job perfectly. Whatever they have been paid, they justify by organizing a seminar. In fact, in Islamabad, there is a sufficient awareness of women's rights, women's status, child abuse, child rights, and all these things, democracy, promotion of democracy, and importance of democracy, the genuine democracy, and all these things. In Islamabad, many people have the good awareness. Those who need awareness about the women's rights and such social issues are living in the far-flung areas, backward areas of the Pakistan. If you go to the interior Sindh, go to the southern Punjab, go to the interior Balochistan, KPK, GB, you will find many problems on such social issues. But these NGOs will not go to their far-flung areas, backward areas, poor pupils, and create awareness there. They prefer to stay in Islamabad in the five-star hotel, spend time with the ruling elite, and have the photo session. The trickle-down impact to the common man, to the masses of Pakistan, was very little. So most of the American funding has benefited few individuals, elite, not the masses of Pakistan. And in the social sector, which really need their help, was ignored, and only the ruling elite was addressed. While, on the other hand, if we see the Chinese projects in Pakistan, what are they doing? They're making power plants, dams, roads, railways, industrialization, agriculture, and optical fiber and infrastructure development. If a power plant is built, who will use the electricity? The common man of Pakistan. The beneficiary is the common man. If a motorway is built, who will use this motorway? The common citizen of Pakistan. The beneficiary is the common man, the masses. If there are industrialization in Pakistan, who will work in the industry? The common worker, the citizen of Pakistan. So the masses of Pakistan are the beneficiaries of the Chinese projects. Chinese projects has one additional aspect, that they are self-sustained and profit-making and commercial projects. They are generating revenue. They are improving the economic cycle of Pakistan. If there is a dam, few thousand people will be getting job. If there is a road, motorway under construction, a lot of people will get local job. If there is industrialization, usually a medium-sized industry requires 5,000 workers. So that means one industry is feeding 5,000 families. If there are hundreds and thousands of such factories, then you can imagine how many people are the beneficiary of the Chinese investment into Pakistan. Imagine if all the infrastructure is developed, electricity is sufficient, industrialization is popularized, agriculture is promoted, how many people, individual common man, will be the beneficiary of the Chinese projects? So there is a comparison between the Chinese projects in Pakistan and American projects in Pakistan. American funding in Pakistan and the Chinese funding into Pakistan. Most of the Chinese funding is revenue generating, promoting commercial activities and rotating the cycle of economy in this country. Of course, this is the sustainable development for Pakistan. There is a difference between the Western assistance and approach and the Chinese approach. China has launched Belt and Road Initiative, which is a really sustainable approach. Belt and Road Initiative focuses on infrastructure development, connectivity. If there is a more infrastructure among the Belt and Road family countries, more connectivity is there, more flow of people and goods is there, more trade is there, more economic activities are there, more opportunities are there, and the beneficiaries are the end users is the common man. It's not limited to the ruling elite only. The rich people, whether they live in a poor country, it is heaven for them. But the majority of the people, the masses, if they are poor, then it is a problem. The Chinese initiative are helping the masses, a common man. For example, China, under the Belt and Road Initiative, has already helped 149 countries, mostly in the developing countries, building railway, motorways, power plants, industrialization, and many, many other projects of economic worth. Economic worth mean that the projects which generate revenue and chain of economic activities are initiated. So many, many people, masses, will be beneficiary. That is the difference between the Chinese initiative and the Western approach. I believe
So proceed with your lecture. Please mute your microphones. I request everyone to mute your microphones while our guest speaker is talking. Thank you. Professor Zamir, please unmute your mic.
Okay. We need to understand the Western approach with the Chinese approach. The Chinese have one saying: if you want to build to prosper a country or a region, build a road in that area. The economy will boost up. If you want long-term prosperity, open the universities, educate the people. Once the people are educated, they will find many ways how to manage their life, how to manage their fate, how to manage their future. That is long-term investment. In fact, in Pakistan, we need immediate, mid-term, and the long-term projects for prosperity, for sustainable development. Of course, if man is who is hungry and who has no food, we have to provide him the lunch and dinner immediately to make him alive, to keep his life smooth. Then we have to educate him and train him how to earn his livelihood, how to earn his food every day. We are not only providing fish to them, but we have to teach them how to fish so that sustainably he can get the food every day. And then, of course, the long term is that through education. Education is a long-term beneficial, and usually its impact will be visible after 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years. Pakistan is a country which is passing through the crisis. We have we need to plan in all dimensions, immediate, midterm, and long-term plan projects. And China is there to assist Pakistan. China has never left Pakistan alone on any critical moment. Whenever we needed China, China was always with us. Just a few months ago, in the beginning of this year, I think the Saudi Arabia wanted us to pay back its loan of 1 billion US dollar. And Pakistan was not in a position to pay back this loan. We approached Chinese friends and got $1 billion transferred to Saudi Arabia. After very short time, 3 months, I think, again they asked for 1 billion more, and we again approached Chinese, and Chinese has never disappointed us. In the past, all the difficult moments, China stood with us. Either it was the Kashmir issue, or Afghan issue, or internal issues, or external issues, or in the United Nations Security Council, always, always China rescued Pakistan, India, and some of its allies. And let me say, America also has moved a resolution in the United Nations against Pakistan, declaring Pakistan a default state, declaring Pakistan a terror state, harming Pakistan. But China has used its veto power or has threatened to use its veto power and rescued Pakistan all the time. For more than 7 decades, we are close friend of China, and this friendship is time tested. All difficult moment, all critical moment, China has supported Pakistan. I believe that in future we have to work more closely with the Chinese. China has reached a stage, and China has gained enough experience and expertise. China has capacity and resources to assist Pakistan and address the Pakistan economic crisis. China has surpassed the stage where any big country can coerce China, pressurize China, or dictate China. So I think our close ties with China are more beneficial for Pakistan, and we should focus more on China-Pakistan relation. We are not against any other country. We wish to have good relation with America and the Europe and all other countries, but not at the cost of China. We can be very good friend with all nations, with every country, but our strategic partnership are always depending with China. China and Pakistan are two countries, two nations with the shared future, shared destiny, shared fate. And we are time tested and all weather friends. When China was poor, most of the Western world was not having diplomatic relations with China. But Pakistan valued China since beginning, either it was poor or rich. Irrespective of Chinese development, China is our everlasting friend. Pak-China friendship, long live. Pak-Chin Dosti, Zindabad. I think I should end my lecture here and then open the floor for answer question session. Let me also clarify that I lived in China for a long time. I have very good understanding of Chinese affairs and China related question answer I can handle very conveniently. Whatever is in your mind, please be frank and ask, be bold and ask, positive or negative, don't mind. Whatever questions are coming into your mind, please be brave and be bold and ask any question, whatever rises into your mind. Thank you very much.